Hey, welcome to Terranel Designs. I'm Sam Nelson, and each week we redesign an outdoor living space to fit the individual style and needs of the homeowner. I'll walk you through my design process and get you some tips along the way. If you find this video helpful, please take a minute to hit like and subscribe. That really helps. And if you're looking to redesign your outdoor living space, head on over to our website, terraneldesigns.com, and click Get Started. All right, let's get to it. Today I want to talk a little bit about the pros and cons of a concrete patio versus a paver patio. Certainly everybody has kind of their preferences or their opinions on these, usually because they've had a bad experience with one or the other. Personally, I'm biased. I like the pavers better. I think they're a nicer look. I like the different styles available. I like how you can add to them in the future without it looking hodgepodgey or different, like when you would pour two different kinds of concrete. If you pour concrete, you wait a couple years and you add to that patio, they're going to look different. With the pavers, you can add a different style and it can look like an accent, or you can even use the same pavers and they'll be a closer blend. Now, pavers over time, they can settle. Sometimes you'll see paver patios that are all kind of out of whack, and they're going to have, the bricks sticking up in some places and low spots in others. Really, that comes down to installation. If the pavers aren't on a compacted base and a nice thick base, water can get under there and erode the base away and cause that settling. And that's one area where sometimes landscapers who give you the lowest bid, they're going to cut down on that sub base. They're not going to compact the soil. They're not going to compact that base. They're not going to give you a nice thick 4 to 6 inches of stone underneath those pavers. And they really give pavers a bad rap in general. Somebody's cutting corners on the installation. They look terrible. Someone comes to your house and they're like, there's no way I'm doing pavers. Look how terrible they look at that guy's house. As my friend Patty pointed out, there are roads in Europe that are like 1,000 years old made of bricks. And those have just been compacted and compacted and compacted, and they're still standing strong. The other thing about those pavers is if they do settle or something weird happens, you can always lift them up, reapply base and compact that, and reset those pavers, and it'll look brand new. With concrete, you don't have that option. Concrete cracks or shifts, there's really not much you can do. The founder of the company that I work for, Caribbean Pools, Frank, he always says that there's 3 guarantees with concrete. No one's going to steal it, it's fireproof, and it's going to crack. Cracking in concrete is inevitable. That's why on sidewalks and on driveways, you always see those lines. Those are control joints. So you're trying to anticipate where the cracking is going to occur so that the crack goes in that line and is hidden better. That doesn't always happen. When you're out walking around on the sidewalks and you see the driveways, you'll see cracks all over the place. Now, a crack, a lot of times it's just cosmetic and it's not a huge deal. But when the crack gets out of level or separates, that's when you can start causing some issues. You don't want tripping hazards, and repairing those never looks great. You can either grind them down, you can use epoxy or filler, but it always looks like patchwork. The other thing I will point out about pavers is if you don't keep up with your polymeric sand in between the joints of the pavers, you'll have to refresh that every couple of years. Otherwise, it wears out, and then seeds can land in between those paver bricks, and that's when you'll get that growth popping up in between the paver bricks on old patios. It's not super hard to get rid of that. You can just power wash all that junk out of there, and then you can reapply the sand, but it does need a little love every once in a while. To wrap it up, concrete is super easy. It's going to be about half the price of pavers, good pavers that is. You pour it, it's going to be brushed, it's a nice finish, it's not too slippery, it looks great. It's hard to add different concrete patches, so like if you're working in phases, concrete can be a little tricky because even 2 pours from 2 different trucks poured on the same day in the same conditions, they're not going to match. If you get cracking in an undesirable place, unfortunately you just got to live with it. And over time, it's going to crack, it's going to deteriorate. Deteriorate. But over time, it's going to show its age. There's no getting around that. Pavers do need a little bit of love. If the base wasn't laid properly, or if there's erosion, you might get some settling and have to lift those pavers up and reset them. Not the end of the world. And then over time, you do have to keep up with that polymeric sand, or else you have a little bit of a bigger job ahead of you when you're power washing all that growth out from in between the joints. All right, well, that wraps it up for this week. I hope you guys got value from this video. If so, please let me know in the comments below. Hit like, hit subscribe, and tell me what you think. Are you a paver person? Are you a concrete person? If you have any suggestions on videos you'd like to see in the future, please let me know. If you're looking to kick your backyard up a notch, head on over to our website, terraneldesigns.com, and click Get Started. And until next week, I'm Sam, and this is Terranel Designs.